Welcome all. I'm Matt Farris, still your ministerial intern here at UU Asheville. Thank you. It is really genuinely my pleasure and honor to serve as your worship associate today. This is the space. This is the place of beloved community. For those of you online, you are with us. Our shared Unitarian Universalist values remind us that love is at the center of our lives. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter how you identify, no matter whom you love, you are truly welcome in this place. Let us all open our hearts to the spirits of love, the whole, and the divine as we practice beloved community today. Our guest speaker today is someone many of us know, Reverend Terry Davis. Reverend Terry is the affiliated community minister at UU Asheville and a spiritual director in private practice. Previously, she served UU congregations in St. Louis, Atlanta, and Hendersonville, North Carolina. She and her spouse, Gail, live in North Asheville and are pet parents to Miles, a 10-year-old husky mix who Terry admits truly is the center of their universe. As you know, our Sunday services are truly the work of the whole congregation, and I'd like to give special shout-outs to Simon, our maestro of tech this morning. Thank you, Simon. And our music today will be performed by Paul Moore. I'm especially grateful for the gift of Paul's presence today. He stepped up at the last minute to sub for Dr. Les, and I'll offer more about that later. Thanks as always to the ushers, the folks who provide coffee and treats, the folks who set up and clean up for coffee hour, our faith formation gurus, and everyone else in this beloved community who's contributing this morning to our flourishing. And now, please turn off your phones, check them, see what you think. Will you be making a holy noise? All right, now please let us receive the gift of our opening music from Paul.
I'm so glad to be with you today. To begin our service, we'll start in our usual way, which is the lighting of our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. And at this time, I'd like to invite August and his mom, Sarah, to come up and do that. Oh, and your sibling now, what's her name? And Charlotte. There we go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, you okay? Okay. All right. All is well. Our chalice lighting words today come from the 14th century Persian poet Hafiz. I cannot sit with my countrymen in chains. I cannot act mute, hearing the world's loneliness, crying near the beloved's heart. My love for the divine is such that I could dance with spirit tonight without you, but I would rather have you there. Is your caravan lost? It is if you no longer weep from gratitude or happiness, or weep from being cut deep with the awareness of the extraordinary beauty that emanates from the most simple act and common object. My dear, is your caravan lost? It is if you can no longer be kind to yourself and loving to those who must live with the sometimes difficult task of loving you. At least come to know that someone untied your camel last night, for I hear its gentle voice calling for the holy in the desert. At least come to know that Hafiz will always hold a light with galaxies blooming inside, and that I will always guide your soul to the divine warmth and exhilaration of our beloved's tent. May our chalice light be that light of invitation for us. May this time and this place offer us the warmth and exhilaration that our hearts need and our innermost selves crave. Come, let us worship together, and let's begin by rising in body or in spirit and singing together hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. The lyrics on the screen, we're going to sing it twice, and these words come to us from Rumi. Good morning. Well, I'm about to do what I think is my favorite part of the worship service. I'm so excited. I get to tell the wisdom story. And today we have a book about a man who was a poet. And his name is a long name. It might sound unfamiliar to our Western ears. It is Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi. and he's also known to many simply as Rumi. And Rumi has written many, many poems. Do you know what a poem is? Anybody? Yeah? What is a poem?
Well, it can rhyme and,
It can rhyme. Some don't.
well,
It's words from the heart. Oh, I love that. Can I use that? That's perfect. Okay, well, the grown-ups are going to read a Rumi poem together in a little bit, but we're going to learn about Rumi now. So we're reading from the book Rumi, Poet of Joy and Love, which was written and illustrated by Rasheen Kir-Aye. It began with a leaf, yellow and orange, falling from the tree. A long time ago, in the year 1207, a child was born on a crisp and colorful autumn day in Iran. They called him Rumi. Growing up, Rumi loved to play and dance in the garden. Little Rumi also loved to feed the birds. His favorite bird was a hoopoe. Have you ever heard of a hoopoe? I haven't either. A hoopoe is the symbol of wisdom. Rumi had so many questions. He wondered who created this beautiful world, and his father answered his questions patiently. He taught Rumi what he knew. As Rumi grew older, his favorite thing was to read books. One day, Rumi met a man named Attar. Attar was a great Persian poet. He gave Rumi his poem called The Conference of Birds. I love birds. Thank you, Attar, Rumi said. Rumi opened the book. The story was about a make-believe bird of love and freedom called Simurgh. Hoopoes and hundreds of other birds of all kinds had to cross 7 big valleys to find Simurgh. That's a long journey. Rumi closed his eyes and tried to imagine it. When he opened them again, it was as if he saw the bird take flight. Isn't that a beautiful bird on the screen? Years passed. Rumi moved to Turkey with his family. He became a teacher like his father and his grandfather. His students and followers loved him, but Rumi wasn't happy. Something was missing from his heart. One day, Rumi was passing by the town market when a man said to him, "Salam, Rumi," which is a greeting that means peace, Rumi. The man was named Shems, which means the sun. "I travel the world to learn people's stories," Shems said. "Today I'm here to hear your story, Rumi." Rumi and Shems talked for days and hours. They became good friends. But Rumi's students weren't happy about their friendship. They were jealous of Shems. Rumi was happy to have found a good friend. He raised his hands to the sky, spinning, spinning, spinning in a circle like a floating leaf to celebrate unity and friendship. Sadly, Rumi's students asked Shems to leave Rumi alone. They forced him to leave town without saying goodbye to Rumi. That's not nice, is it? Rumi was very sad to lose his dear friend. Well, Rumi's students were sorry for what they had done. They tried to find Shems to bring him back home, but he was nowhere to be found. That night, Rumi saw his mother in a dream. She held a feather pen in her hand. Rumi was a child again. She gave the pen to Rumi and said, "Write, my son, you will find what you are looking for." So Rumi began to write for days and nights. Word after word he wrote until he finished his great book of poems known as the Masnavi. His poems were inspired by his friendship with Shams and everyday stories. And many loved Rumi's book of poems, especially children. Rumi found peace in writing. He forgave the students for their mistake. You are like the bird Simurg, Rumi said to them. You are love and freedom. Unity is strength. And because he felt so happy and thankful, Rumi danced Sama, which is a special Sufi dance, a dance of his faith. The children danced with him. They opened their arms, raised their hands to the sky, and spinning, 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 they flew like birds. The end. Did you like this story about Rumi?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too. What did you like about it?
I just like how, I'm not sure, but I just like
I understand. I just liked it too. So, well, thank you for letting me share this story with you.
Now, let's sing our children and youth to their faith formation adventures. We want to invite any parents, especially if you're new or visiting and sending your kids to faith formation classes today, to walk out with your children so you can meet up with the group's leaders and find out where to pick up your child after worship. Let's sing as you go.
I invite you now to join me in a time of quiet prayer, meditation, and reflection. If you're not already in one, please find a comfortable position for yourself. Close your eyes if you wish. And if it feels right, take a few deep breaths in and out. I invite you to quietly scan your body for any aches or pains or tensions. And if you find something there, gently take a deep breath in and out, and thank your body for its warning system. Remember that we gather on sacred and stolen ground. Asheville is part of the ancestral lands of the Cherokee Nation, and these lands were unjustly and violently taken from the Cherokee people. May we look for days ahead to respectfully honor them and make reparations to them. Please join me now as we enter the quietude together to pray, reflect, meditate, or simply be still. May it be so. Amen.
Now is the time for us to acknowledge our joys and sorrows with a ritual of water and rocks. For all that grieves our hearts, we add salt to brine the water in these vessels. For all that brings us joy or celebration, warms our hearts, we scatter flower petals to symbolize our joy and sense of gratitude. These rocks remember all the way back to creation, and they happily will testify to our joys and sorrows as we put them in this water that's vast like the ocean. It's a good thing for us to contribute our joys and sorrows to this water. As usual, we have rocks on both sides, so if you all can move in a pattern outward, and as you take your rock and put it in the vessel, go back up the middle there, and if you find that there are some traffic jams, don't put on your horn, but just kind of move around and keep going. Let us begin our ritual. If you have shared a joy, know that we rejoice with you. If you have shared a sorrow, Know that you are held in love by this community. We add these last rocks for all the joys and sorrows of our community, carried by those who are not present with us today. Our community is one community, gathered or apart. I invite you to join me in a responsive reading of a Rumi poem. Excuse me. It's titled, That Lives in Us. So you'll see on the screen there'll be a part for the worship associate and then a part for the congregation. And we have checked these slides so the words are just right. If you put your hands on this oar with me, they will never harm another, and they will come to find they hold everything you want. If you put your hands on this oar with me, they would no longer lift anything to your mouth that might wound your precious land, that sacred earth that is your body. If you put your soul against this oar with me, the power that made the universe will enter your sinew from a source not outside your limbs, but from a holy realm that lives in us. Exuberant is existence, time is husk. When the moment cracks open, ecstasy leaps out and devours space. Love goes mad with the blessings, like my words give. Why lay yourself on the torturer's rack of the past and future? The mind that tries to shape tomorrow beyond its capacities will find no rest. Be kind to yourself, dear, to our innocent follies. Forget any sound or touch you knew that did not help you dance. You will come to see all belongs us. if you put your heart against the earth with me in serving every creature, our beloved will enter you from our sacred realm, and we will be so happy. Here ends the reading.
Once upon a time, more than 30 years ago, my then husband and I decided to end our marriage. It was an enormously difficult time for me. I was devastated that my partner and I could not find a way to make things work out. And so I did what I imagine others who have gone through this experience have done. I went into therapy. My therapist, Lorraine, was everything I hoped to find: kind, wise, and a good listener. She also asked a lot of questions. Some of our sessions began to include other subjects beyond my marital problems, including discussions of faith, hope, and authenticity. One afternoon, Lorraine said, "Terry, I have 2 observations about you that I'd like to share to see if they resonate. Are you open to that?" Yes, I said hesitantly, and Lorraine dove in. "First," she said, "I don't think you're heterosexual. Have you ever considered dating women?" You can laugh. No, not really, I responded. "Well, what do you think?" she asked. And at the time, Lorraine knew that I had many LGBTQ friends. Well, I didn't know what to think. No one had ever asked me a question like that before. "I suggest you keep an open mind," Lorraine continued after some more conversation between us. "You may find more of what you're looking for." "Okay, what's the other observation?" I asked, wanting to change the subject. "The other," she responded, "is that I think you may be a Unitarian Universalist." A what? I had never heard of Unitarian Universalism, and no one had ever asked me that question before either. Well, Lorraine proceeded to tell me about the nearby Atlanta Unitarian Universalist congregation, which is where I was living at the time. She said a few things about their beliefs and not much about what a worship service would be like. Instead, she basically repeated the thing that she said to me earlier. "I suggest you keep an open mind. You may find more of what you're looking for." Well, I didn't realize it then, but Lorraine had planted 2 very important seeds into the soil of my soul. Of course, she might have guessed wrong on both my sexuality and my spiritual DNA, but she didn't. And so, during a time in my life of immense pain and searching, also came the beginning of a personal evolution. If the poet Rumi was alive today and heard that story, I imagine he might say that Lorraine handed me an oar. She reminded me that my life could get better because my life could and probably would one day be different. Could I put my hands on the oar with her? An oar that could help me find my way during a painful divorce and navigate the waters of my unexpected and beautiful human existence. Yes, I could, and I did, and here we are. In today's responsive reading, Rumi invites us to a journey of faith and meaning-making when he writes, "If you put your hands on this oar with me, they will never harm another, and they will come to find that they hold everything you want." In other words, whatever and whoever we have faith in, we are invited to hold on to it like an oar. Hold on to it for our own self-care and the care of others. If you put your hands on this oar with me, they would no longer lift anything to your mouth that might wound your precious land, that sacred earth that is your body. Rumi's words also remind me that faith in something good, something that is bigger than myself, can help me stop feeding from the trough of despair. The trough of despair that for me gets filled in part by reading and watching too much news and engaging in too much conversation about national and world events over which I have little or no control. Now, I'm not saying that I stick my head in the sand and wait for saner times, but if I think of ingesting these nuggets of awfulness, as a direct wound to the precious sacred earth that is my body, I'm aware of how important it is to counteract that diet of awfulness with good food for my body and my soul. And I imagine that I'm not alone in knowing what some of that good food may be. Mine includes time with my family and friends, walks in nature, listening to music, cooking, reading poetry and fiction novels, and coming here. Good food. This is good food. And these are also known as spiritual practices. It seems that Rumi knew that feeding ourselves and our souls well can be a challenge when he wrote, "Be kind to yourself, dear, to our innocent follies. Forget any sounds or touch you knew that did not help you dance." For me, these words are an invitation to gentleness, an invitation to try again in my quest for wholeness and connection, to leave behind anything that doesn't serve my human right to flourish, my human need to dance. You will come to see, Rumi writes, that all evolves us. All evolves us. These words remind me that all of life can and does move me forward in my evolution, my evolution as a person who is giving and taking, seeking and striving, both gracefully and clumsily in this world. So, how might we look at every experience, both joyful and painful, as a contribution to our evolution? And can we take any comfort in this? One answer might lie in this story that I read. This past week, during an unfortunate lapse into doom scrolling, I came across a powerful story of hope and change, and perhaps some of you read it too. It was about a New York Times combat photographer who, during his assignment in Afghanistan, stepped on one of the landmines that riddled the destroyed compound he and several U.S. troops were walking through. The soldiers suffered concussions but were otherwise uninjured. The photographer, Joao Silva, lost both of his legs. 15 years and 2 prosthetic legs later, Silva decided to return to the Afghan village where the incident occurred. He wanted, in his words, to finish that journey and walk where I nearly died. So Silva begins his story writing, "The last time I was in this small farming community in southern Afghanistan, the village was a front line in an interminable war. Buried beneath the earth was an endless arsenal of explosive devices, the Taliban's weapon of choice against American forces. Yet, in the time following the war, life had evolved. Silva noticed the changes, writing, "The village elder was out in his pasture, crouched low in waist-high alfalfa. He ran his sickle through the thickets. He and his grandson gathered the plants into heaping bundles, lugging them on their backs to the 2 cows sheltered behind the wall of the family's homestead. The village school was filled with the sound of children's laughter. Young men played cricket on an open ground that once served as a landing pad for American helicopters." About his own changes, Silva observed, "I was in search of closure, but not the emotional kind. I had unfinished journalistic business. My time in Afghanistan ended abruptly. I had missed the U.S. withdrawal and the Taliban takeover, and I was sad that I had not seen the story through. But now I would pick it back up in a new chapter." That new chapter, it turns out, included both the village and Silva in its pages. He wrote, "I harbored no anger toward the Taliban. My legs had been lost to an act of violence, but I did not take it personally. The mine was buried for whoever came along first." During his visit to the village, Silva drank tea with some of the village men. The village elder, whom Silva saw working in the fields, took him to the exact location where the photojournalist had lost his legs. But the compound was gone. In its place, wrote Silva, stood a pomegranate orchard in flower, the petals glowing, blood red in the afternoon sunlight. "It gave me some comfort," he said, "to see that life grew from what had been a place of destruction." The place had changed. It was evolving for the good, and so was Silva, who was neither angry nor despondent about his changed life. In closing, I think that the final words of Rumi's poem might offer a specific action that we can take to aid our own evolution process. He writes, "If you put your heart against the earth with me in serving every creature, our beloved will enter you from our sacred realm, and we will be so happy." That last stanza reminds me that our participation in a much bigger collective, like this Unitarian Universalist congregation, can change my heart and nourish my spirit. As a faith community, we are invited to do many things with love at the center, especially, I think, to be of service. Supporting one another, teaching one another, working for the well-being of all inhabitants of our planet, doing these things together as you use can be a joyful, hopeful, imperfect, and transformative experience. It has been for me, and I gather it has been for many of you too. As we go from here, may we keep an open mind about the challenges life is handing us at this moment. May these difficult times contribute to our own evolution. May we experience our journey as a collective one, where together we grasp the oars we need to move through life's changing waters. And here and there along the way, may we be so happy. May it be so. Amen. I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit and join me in singing hymn number 134, Our World is One World. It's not a familiar hymn to me, and not to Paul either. So he's going to play it through once so we can hear the melody, and then we'll join in with verses 1 and 2.
Now it is time for the work of the congregation. We are truly a welcoming congregation, and it's one of my favorite dimensions of any Sunday service. Usually we have some microphones to take around. We have them, and so we invite visitors to briefly give their names and where they're coming from, and we will get to know you better at length after the service. Please introduce yourselves if you're interested in doing so.
Hi, my name's Ed Miller. I really appreciate your comments today. I lost my husband in May, and we actually were going to the Hendersonville church when you were at your very end of your service there. So I'm in transition from Florida to North Carolina, and I guess your talk really resonated with me because now I'm on a new journey.
Welcome.
My name's Jerry Ewing, and I live in Asheville. I've been here about 2 years. I came with my wife, who had Alzheimer's, to be closer to my son, who lived here a few years ago. We moved for Connecticut, and it's been a very busy time. We've lost Pat 4 months ago, but I'm looking for a church and community, and happy to be here.
Welcome.
I'm Melanie Cerny, and this is my husband Ed, and I've stood up before. We live in Durham, but when we have a house here, and when we're here, we come to this church. But this is a special week for us because my husband is turning 80. He wouldn't want me to say this, but and we've also been married 50 years. So,
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Tude Moxley from France, and I came here 3 days ago, and I have a bed and a chair. Currently, I'm waiting for the moving company to come in a couple of weeks. So it's great to be here and meet all the new people. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Katie Keller, and I've been a member for a little while now, so I'm like another member. But I just wanted to ask if there can be more communication, and I can get to know people maybe after coffee.
Welcome. We do invite all of our visitors to come and be with us in coffee hour, and we'll get to know people better. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Well, normally we would now take a moment to wave at Trevor, our connections coordinator. And he does an amazing job of meeting our visitors and helping them out with useful information about UU Asheville. Unfortunately, Trevor hasn't been feeling well, so he's not with us today. So visitors, today you have a whole congregation of connections coordinators, and we'd like to meet you after the service, and we can answer your questions and tell you more about our congregation. As some of you may know, our beloved music director, Les Downs, had a small stroke this week. It has affected his vision, and his physicians have been running tests. Les appreciates the love and care everyone has shown him. We'll keep folks updated on how they can show support for him. So we'll communicate some more about that later. Our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service. If you missed them, refer to Thursday's weekly e-news, as everything is described there, plus some. If you don't receive the e-news, please email us at information@uuasheville.org, and we'll get you signed up. Our community plate recipient this month is Swannanoa Communities Together. Swannanoa still needs our help. Our offering this morning will be split with our partner unless you intend to give your gift to be applied to your pledge, in which case please use the envelopes in the pew in front of you. You can also donate online. The work and ministries of this congregation are entirely supported by the generosity of our members and friends. We celebrate your generosity each Sunday with music and thanks. You make us possible, and we give thanks to you. The offering will now be gratefully collected. For the gifts of your time, presence, and wisdom, we are grateful. Thank you so much, Paul. It turns out we have one final special announcement.
Hey, you Asheville! Do you know what day it is? Soup Sunday! That's right. So today's Soup Sunday.
Give whatever you can. It's donation based, and it really helps all of us.
The donations go to UU Asheville, and it's going to be some really delicious soup and some really delicious things to put on your soup and things to have next to your soup. Everything you could ever ask for. And so come get some soup after the service.
To close our service, I'd like to offer a benediction. These words again are from the poet Hafiz. You carry all the ingredients to turn your life into a nightmare. Don't mix them. You have all the genius to build a swing in your backyard for the divine. That sounds like a hell of a lot more fun. Let's start laughing, drawing blueprints, gathering our talented friends. Hafiz will sing 1,000 words you can take into your hands like gold saws, silver hammers, polished teak wood, strong silk rope. You carry all the ingredients to turn your existence into joy. Mix them. Mix them. Let us rise now in body or in spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, Long Time Son. The words are on the screen. Our service is ended. May you go in peace.